But in my mind, I'm like, I'm doing everything that everyone told me. I'm getting things off my plate. I'm delegating to staff. Okay. I'll tell you this right now. The most important thing that you will do is have a strong culture. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast, great episode. Whether you're just going to start the practice, you've had a practice for 3 to 5 years, you're thinking about going to that next level, don't make the same mistakes I've made. I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do right now to set yourself up for growth, set yourself up for success. You want to be the CEO of your practice? This is the episode that will get that started. This is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, likes, listens. It's summer in Michigan. It is sunny. If you're watching on a YouTube channel, I might be a little washed out. That's fine. You're here to hear my voice, not see my lovely face. I'm messing with you, but you get the point. So we'll work with it. It stays bright and light, and we got water reflecting sun right into my eyes. So if I'm squinting as well, that's what's going on. I love this podcast because it's allows me to reflect back on my journey, what's going on, and hopefully giving you perspective on what's going on in my world so you can make your practice better, not make the same mistakes that I've made. And the next 2 episodes are going to be really good stuff if you're just starting out, if you're getting ready to move to that next phase, if you're looking to grow. There's tons of lessons in here. So, number one, you need to grow, right? You're growing or you're dying, right? That's just the nature of what's going on. And invariably, when you grow, you have to add people. When I started off, it was me and one other full time person and a part time person. And then slowly we added people, uh, so on and so forth. I had 2 offices. I really wish I had that second office now. Man, I don't know why I didn't just hire another doctor to begin with. It would have made things a lot easier. But hindsight is 2020. Here we are. But when I was at the stage where I was going from my 1,600 square foot office to a 3,500 square foot office, doubling in size, I had to add a bunch of people. And one of the things that you'll hear from me, from everyone, is you got to delegate, you got to get things off your plate. This is a conscious effort. What happens is essentially you look at your best person, who can do the most, who's been with you the longest. You're like, well, you're the one, give them the roles, and go from there. The Peter Principle says that you'll promote someone to the level of their incompetence. You'll get them to the level where they really aren't capable. They don't have the skills to be in that position, but you never let them go because you've put them there. And it's hard to move on, right? I did that twice. Okay. Great staff members, not great managers, not great leaders. Okay. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm doing everything that everyone told me. I'm getting things off my plate. I'm delegating to staff. Okay. I'll tell you this right now. The most important thing that you will do is have a strong culture. Okay. It feels great to get things off your plate. I have more freedom. I can go on vacation. Even before I had the other doctor, I trusted them to hold down the fort. And they really didn't do a bad job. But what I failed to see was, even though they were not great managers and leaders, my presence was still so close to the environment that it covered up a lot of the inadequacies. I was there every day. I was seeing patients every day. There wasn't as much to go off the rails. Okay. Well, fast forward. We moved to the new space. I hire a new doctor. We have new roles. We had a front desk department and we had an optical department. And they had staff under them. Each of them had 3 direct reports underneath them. And my number one focus was getting the new doctor up to speed and having revenue. I'll tell you this, you have got to have so much money set aside not to have that mindset. Because you move into a bigger space, you have more overhead, new staff, you've doubled your staff, you've added a doctor. You're cash runs out, and I was pretty well prepared for it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I drive revenue. I need to get this doctor up to speed, and I need to see a crap ton of patients in less time. So that's what I did. And I tried to work my way through it, have different like if she's gonna be here, um, what benefit can I get? Well, I'll get out earlier. So I worked every day, but I just got out of the office a little bit sooner at 3:30. And it was great. I'd go home. It would kind of keep me mellow, like I didn't get too stressed out. But what I didn't realize was the culture was dying. We were having people revolting against the managers, high turnover, just bad, crappy culture. And someone brought it to my attention, my senior most staff member, who was not a manager at the time, was like, hey, we're having some issues here. We're going to lose every single one of our opticians. I'm like, holy crap. And, I talked to the managers. I'm like, what's going on? And they gave me their version of the story. I'm like, well, I'm here. Let's sit down and talk to them. And I got the other side of the story, and I started to look into it. And I'm not pointing fingers or anything like that, but it came down to poor leadership, poor management. The old saying is, people don't care how much you know unless they know that you care. So true, but they just my leaders at the time didn't understand that. They still don't grasp that. And that's not their fault, right? It's my fault for putting them in that position. So 3 things that I will say that I want you to be aware of when you're in this phase of growth, when you're getting ready to move to the next level. The first thing I did that was wrong was I didn't hold my managers accountable. Like, I kind of gave them free reign and I wanted to be hands off. My biggest fear of me as a leader is that all I do is micromanage. I don't want to be a micromanager. I want to let people run. I want to let my athletes play and be the best that they can be. Give them a track to stay on, but let them have personality. Let them try different things and fail and succeed. And I honestly will tell you, the new doctor, I believe I've done nothing but that. And she's flourishing. And I feel so proud to see her doing well with my guidance and kind of just helping her and coaching and mentoring. And I love that. That's my ethos. That's my mantra. That's what I want to do. Give people hope, educate, and advise. Every aspect of what I do, from outside of work with my family to in the office, that's what I do, and that's where I'm having fun, right? So that went really well. My managers needed more help, and we have one-on-ones weekly. I talk to them, and I would get feedback from them, but I wouldn't follow up to see how they were doing it. I wouldn't see what their one-ons were, and I had traits of times like, hey, did you do your one-on? No, I don't want to do this. I just don't want to be with them. I'm like, all right, kind of let it go. I'm like, I get it. I let them, I didn't agree with some of the evaluations of staff, but I'm like, you know what? You're doing great. I'm going to trust you. I want you to have people around you. And that leads me to the next thing is that we lacked alignment on core values. Now, they helped me write my core values. They helped me designate what they were, right? To a T. But how it's actually put into practice, no. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things that they wanted, and I think when they put it in there, they were looking for the staff members to give it to them, but didn't look at themselves in the mirror. And a lot of these things, when you're being a leader, when you're in a management role, you got to look yourself in the mirror, number one. It ultimately always falls on you, right? Again, I don't think they got that. And have empathy for patients and coworkers. Put that in there, right? I don't think they had that. The other thing that they said was, we want to bring positive, fun energy every single day. And I gave them the benefit of the doubt. We doubled our size. We had a bunch of new people. And honestly, when you get to that point and you're moving into the new space, we were just looking for warm bodies. And we literally filled it with just warm bodies who weren't aligned with our core values, who weren't they were crap staff members, right? And I'm like, they're really stressed, and it's because we've had poor people. We got to revamp the system. So we revamped it, but from a business side, we're kicking butt, taking names. Patients were good, numbers were good, but there was still that animosity, and that's 100% because the culture sucked, right? The business was booming, but the culture sucked, and that's because the leaders weren't doing that. And one of the things I wanted to do with this new office was be less hands-on. I wanted to see patients, manage my managers, and not have the presence the same. Let them lead, right? That was the theory. And that works when you have good natural leaders or people that have been trained in leadership and such and like it. Red flag for me, talk to both managers, and one, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not going to baby them. One of the common things they would say a lot is they should know this. They don't, obviously. Or I don't want to be a manager. I'll give it to anyone. All right, well, that's red flags, right? So hearing that and not really taking initiative, it is 100% my fault, right? I took initiative and I got it fixed in probably about a month. And I'll go over that, future episodes. I probably talked about it in the past. But I wasn't visible enough. Leaders need to lead by setting the example, living the core values out, pointing them out, complimenting them, showing them how you want them to act and be. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't visible. Do my time, talk to the doctors, talk to the managers, get out, right? And the culture was toxic, garbage, horrible, right? So the three things I will tell you is, one, don't just promote someone because they're the best at something or they've been there the longest. Look at their skill set. Are they ready? And it's hard now that I'm talking about this. I'm not quite there to figure out how to do that. How do you find someone that has that if they don't understand and you just bring them in and train them? You got to have that. And I'll address that in the next episode, but hold people accountable, right? The standard is the standard, period. Make sure that even though they can say what your core values are, they living them? Do their actions line up with their words, with what you want, right? And that's where I've just taken over 100% on culture. I have, thankfully, a staff member that believes in the mission, that believes in that people aspect of the mission, and is helping me rebuild it from the inside out. But gotta have those core values. I am such a firm believer now that is how you have a thriving business that will succeed in a recession, will succeed good times and bad, if you have a strong culture. Culture. It's dynamic. It's never stagnant. It's always changing, right? Every day. Culture first. All right. The last thing is the leaders have to be visible. The leaders have to be visible. I need to have more of a presence. Even if it's a 5-minute, like walking around, good job, hey, thanks for being here today. Like genuine authenticity. Be yourself, but you need to have a presence. They need to know that you're setting the tone. And if you're not the one doing it, there has to be someone that their sole job is culture, right? So again, depending on where you're at, I know you're like, all right, I got to get things off my plate. I need to delegate. Don't make the same mistake I did. Be better prepared. Get the right people in the right seats. And if you don't have them, one, can you develop them? Do you have the time and patience? And two, if you can't, you have to bring someone in that can do that. Hiring specifically for that position. Now, you're going to ruffle some feathers where that person that is your best staff member is going to have someone else come in and they're going to be reporting to them. They better believe in the culture or they're not the right person on your team. And that's where we lose it. We get so committed to a person that we give up on our culture, our values, right? And then be visible. Right now, with most of the offices, anyone I think in my mind that is listening to this podcast, it comes with you, the doctor. You're the owner. You're the leader. You set the tone. Okay? I'm going to go into the next podcast or two. I'm going to go over what you do to fix that. What do you do to set your culture? How do you do that if you're in this position where you have that staff member that isn't the leader and you want to bring someone else on? How are you going to navigate those waters? I have answers. They're working for me right now. I hope they work for you, but I want to give you that insight because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. So that's what I have. We'll have more for you next week. Where, oh, where has the time gone? We are to the closing thought of the episode, and I'll leave you with this thing that I stumbled across, and I thought it was really, really good. Humble enough to know I can be replaced. Wise enough to know there's nobody else like me. Right? You're in this position, you're running a practice. I love that the other doctor is starting to produce. That she literally can go in and see my patients and I can be replaced. I'm very cognizant of that. I'm conscious of it. But I also know that she's handling one aspect, and that's patient care. The business is a whole nother beast. You guys that are doing this, you guys know that being in the exam room is the easy part of your day. From a private practice standpoint, easiest thing you will do. Like, I don't even think twice about being in the exam room. Right? So easy. Running a business is very, very difficult. And doing what you do, not everyone can do that. And that's where there's no one else like me. You have to have that mindset when you're going to be an entrepreneur, when you're going to start your own practice, that, humble, but also you're legit. You are irreplaceable. You are one of one. Right? And I love that mentality. It's like the double-edged sword of, like, passive, peaceful, but you don't want to go to war with me, against me, right?